Weights have been lifted. Sprints have been run. Preparation for today's game is history. It's time to get it done. You're listening on MichiganSportsRadio.com.
An amazing streak continues on the wrestling mat, and we're less than a week away from the start of a revamped hockey tournament. I'm John Ross, and this is This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid. The MHSAA Ice Hockey Tournament bracket is set, and you'll notice some changes from last year's bracket. This year, the entire tournament is seeded using MPR. Each of the 3 divisions contains 8 regions with up to 8 teams in a region. The highest seeded team in a region will play the lowest seeded team, and so on. Last year, only the top 2 teams in each region were seeded. Also new this year, the teams will be reseeded following the quarterfinals. The Ice Hockey Seeding Committee will take all 4 semifinalist teams and reseed them 1 through 4. The 1 seed will play the 4, the 2 seed will play the 3, with the winners meeting in the finals. Last year, there was no reseeding at the semifinal level. The way divisions are broken up this year is also new. Standalone and co-op programs will be rank ordered by enrollment, but on separate lists. The top 1/3 from each list will make up Division 1, the middle third from each will be Division 2, and the bottom third from each list will comprise Division 3. This change is expected to rebalance the divisions, as Division 1 had been primarily made up of co-op teams in the past. Staying the same from past years, a coin flip will determine the home team for each game. The first regional games will drop the puck on February 20th. The semifinals are March 9th and 10th, with the finals on Saturday, March 11th. All of the semifinals and finals action from USA Hockey Arena in Plymouth will be available on the NFHS Network and the MHSAA Championship Radio Network. For brackets, scores, and more, be sure to check out MHSAA.com. Game balls this week go to Davison's Greg Lawson. The sophomore tallied a triple-double, 32 points, 12 assists, and 11 rebounds, and a 5-overtime win over Flint Hamady. The 94-90 victory came in the Cardinal Classic Final. To the Gibraltar Carlson competitive cheer team, who knocked off 3-time reigning Division II state champion Allen Park on way to the championship of the Downriver League. And to the Holt wrestling team. They captured their 37th straight district title, yes, 37 in a row, by knocking off Grand Ledge in the finals. The last time Holt failed to win a wrestling district title, 1986, when That's What Friends Are For was the #1 song.
For high school seniors, the matchup of the year isn't on the field. It's actually online. That's right. When you fill out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, you could also be eligible for thousands of dollars in additional money from the Michigan Achievement Scholarship. Yep, nearly 80% of students who fill out the FAFSA may be eligible. Now that's a matchup we can all root for. Get started today at michigan.gov/achievement. The Michigan Achievement Scholarship. It's a game changer.
Our weekly Be the Referee feature takes a look at the fine art of officiating with registered official Paige Winnie.
We are in the pool today, nearing the end of our 100-yard freestyle race. To finish a race and record a time, a swimmer can either touch the touchpad or the finish end, i.e. the wall around the touchpad. If the touchpad is contacted in a time recorded, great. That's all the officials need. But what happens if I hit the touchpad and the time doesn't stop? Or if I touch the wall just above the touchpad? In these instances, the officials go to a backup timer, and the backup timer for that swimmer will be used as their race time. The backup timer operates for all races, but is only used in the event of a touchpad malfunction or a swimmer hitting the finish end. A majority of the time, it's not even needed, but it's good to have for instances like these.
Thanks, Paige. Now more than ever, we need officials. If you're interested, go to the MHSAA website now to register. If you aren't following the MHSAA on social media, what are you waiting for? It's a great way to keep up with everything going on at the MHSAA. Looking for tournament updates, event announcements, or links to stories? then check out our Facebook or Twitter accounts. Instagram and TikTok is where you will find our weekly Performance of the Week feature and other behind-the-scenes content. YouTube has tons of historic MHSAA finals archived. Look for classic matchups and rewatch some great games. MHSAA social media is the best way to connect with us every day. So make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. With winter tournaments just getting started, you don't want to miss a thing. You've been listening to This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid, a production of the MHSAA Network. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ross, and we'll see you next week.
Lobbed ahead over the timeline to Gable. Gable strikes to the basket, elevates, slams it down over top of Orbaugh. Won't get it. Ryans dribbles to the corner. 15 seconds to go. Ryans, Vanderjack, up fake, launches a three. Good! Oh my goodness! Out to the point. Rosema, innocent space. Shot, scores! 2-goal lead for the Bulldogs. 4 unanswered. Line, giving on to Titus. Titus angles, pull up shot for the lead. Good! Brady Titus, a scream to the heavens after he knocks it down. And hello everyone, and welcome to Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. This is the MHSAA Hockey Regional Playoffs here on Hockey Night on MGN. Nate Dreyer with you. It is the Division III Region 20 semifinal tonight, and we welcome you inside Southside Ice Arena for the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. Grandville and Grand Rapids Catholic Central, two classic West Michigan hockey rivals, are ready for this one this afternoon. A trip to the regional championship next week is on the line, and there's so many storylines that we're going to have a chance to get into in this one. It's the youth of the Bulldogs who have found their way after a tough regular season through the first round over Big Rapids and Catholic Central, the top team on their home rink in the region that have been waiting for the Bulldogs, and now they are set to see if they can advance on as they try to win their first region in a couple seasons. 2021, the last time they put one up. The Bulldogs have won 2 in a row and dropped down to Division III from the top division of MHSAA competition this season. So many storylines that we will have a chance to get into. I mean, you look beyond there, you look at the depth of scoring for Catholic Central. You look at some of the storylines around Grandville, not just the youth, but youth in net, and how terrifically they were able to play defensively all around their terrific freshman netminder, Aiden Karras, on Tuesday night. A lot to get to, and I cannot wait, first and foremost, to get to the game this evening, because it's going to be an intense game, to say the least. And I think when we talk about rivalries in West Michigan that are, Michigan high school hockey, and you know exactly what this one's going to mean for each of these two sides here tonight. A lot to get to on the Bates Agency pregame show. Do not go anywhere. We're going to quick step aside, and when we come back, we'll start getting into some of those storylines right after this.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm, and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
"You've got squirrels in your engine, and they chew through the wiring."
and it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Rather than just always relying on one player.
Yeah, Scott Bates Agency pregame show
continues here on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. CT, I think the next thing that you have to mention most notably in this contest is break me every time still. Every single time that happens, it gets me. The winners still go to the Heartland student section last year at the Breslin Center. Those guys win every time. Season, and we'll wrap up our broadcast with the Heinz Orthodontics smile of the game. Driver. Hi, I'm Chandler T.
Oh, wow.
We're going to leave this in.
All right.
This is staying in the show. He is Chandler Timmer. I am Nate Dreyer. This is what happens when you work there for 6 years. The names are one.
We're just one, yeah.
Chandler Timmer, Nate Dreyer. Chandler Timmer, Nate Dreyer. Michigan game night, tailgate report. We clearly have to stop talking. I do at least. I will see you all. I see you too. Friday night, Grandville, Wyoming. I think 6:30. We're on the air for that. Goodbye. And Cam Regnerus has scoring report for the Panthers. 4 points thrown at that point guard position. Tough backcourt in general. Getting to some of those other pieces that we have out there. After 3 years, it finally almost came down on me. Good catch. I don't know what kid caught that, but that was a good catch. But regardless, a tough back. And welcome back. Nate Dreyer with you here as Scott Bates, Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. And we are at Southside Ice Arena wrapping up the junior game before the high schoolers in the regional semifinal get to take to the rink in this one. Welcome rinkside here. And like I said, the first way that I think we are going to need to set up this game in most regards is going to be that of a battle of experience versus a battle of youth. The Grandville team that, yes, has been to back-to-back, or won back-to-back regional championships, team that went to the Final Four a year ago in USA Hockey Arena. But I think you can throw a lot of that, obviously, out with Coach Brazil's team in terms of just the general youth that they are flipping around onto this year's team versus Catholic Central. Coach Sablonik has a team that is loaded with experience and loaded with guys that have kind of reached that peak and have built for this being a significant year for them. You look, obviously, starting with Nolan Nemesek, their senior leading scorer, has 47 points on the year. He has been the go-to guy all year long for this team. They've got two lines of go-to guys and go-to experience that they're able to roll, and all that kind of bears down. The Bulldogs have two skaters, three in total in terms of seniors on their team. It's 6 seniors for Catholic Central, a lot more upper-class experience that they have as well versus the Grandville team that is just loaded with sophomores and freshmen, of course. Aiden Karras jumps to front of mind, the terrific netminder that we saw give up just one goal and really do a lot of great work on Tuesday night for the Bulldogs to move on. Of course, the second goal and ultimately the winning goal in that game was credited to freshman Luke DeBoer as he was able to get a putback. So the Bulldogs very, very young. There's some good young talent that we'll touch on for Catholic Central as well in this one, but for a Grandville team, exceedingly young and on the fly trying to learn that system and look more like a team that's playing Grandville hockey when you think traditionally of the structure, of the style that this team has played throughout the years and what they've used to win over the last couple seasons. I think obviously you can look to that defensive style, that structure, that smart play. We saw that on Tuesday night. What was a grinding game? A game that had a lot of penalties. It was a sloppy, tough game. It was a game that took a lot of mental toughness, I think, for a young team to actually find a way to win. That's exactly what the Bulldogs were able to do. Catholic Central, of course, has been waiting for Grandville. They last run action beating Kenowa Hills to end the regular season 6-2. Look at some of the base stats, and we'll use that kind of as our initial base to figure out where we're going in this contest. We've got plenty of time to talk about things here on a little bit what's going to be an extended version here of the Bates Agency pregame show. Catholic Central, during the season, they scored 4.4 goals per game. They gave up 2.16 goals to opponents on the year. Grandville scored a little over 2.5 goals a game on the year, but the main thing that was out of the ordinary for Grandville hockey was the fact the Bulldogs gave up nearly 5.4 goals per game on the season. That's the number one thing that you're looking for a turnaround. Freshman netminder Karras looking terrific as part of that, giving up just one to a semi-loaded Big Rapids offense at the table, along with that idea of youth that all levels for Grandville versus experience. Catholic Central can go deep with scoring in this lineup. It's one of the number one things that I think Coach Sablownik has to like what he has is normally at the high school level you see one line that's a terrific scoring line, maybe one or two other guys beneath that, and then a defense that's maybe a pair and a half of top-level guys. Catholic Central's got at least two of each of those things. They can roll a couple pairs of defensemen, they can roll a few lines, and they can expect some really good scoring out of that as well. Grand Rapids Catholic Central has 9 players in double-digit scoring, and if you look at the list of the guys that have 20-plus points, I mean, the list is almost just as big. So that's one of the first things you're looking at. Grandville, a team that's done a lot of their scoring from their top offensive line, from their top D pairing. Catholic Central, multiple lines that will roll offensively, and that's where it's going to be the structure of Grandville's defense, trying to create opportunities then when that top line is out there, led, of course, by Andrew Pullman, who we're going to talk a lot about. He was terrific, had a goal, an empty net goal that sealed the game on Tuesday, but made a lot of other big plays as well, beating them, and they're keeping the game in check. But then I think you're going to have to see a more opportunistic Grandville team when the top line out there with the guys that can score. You think of Easton Pratt as well as the top defenseman motoring. He had the first goal of the game on Tuesday. Those are all some of the initial talking points on how Coach Brazil and company for the Bulldogs are going to draw up attacking this game and finding a way to win a playoff hockey game, which is different than almost any other time of the year when you're looking at the intensity of the game, the style of the game, and some of those things that we can expect in that regard. A lot more to get to here on the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. We're going to step aside. We're on the verge of March on MGN. Hockey playoffs are already here. Basketball playoffs are right around the corner. So we're going to quick step aside, and we're going to go to a little feature on that and roll right into the game, or right into the continuing coverage here in the pregame right after that.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
It's a 3-week journey, unmatched in almost all sports. It takes 8 games of perfection, from Monday night at your home gym and districts to the grand stage of Michigan's largest college basketball arena. Neighborhood district foes for a week, then the best of the region, the best of your quarter of the state, and eventually all eyes on the best of the best from each side of the state, with it all on the line in late March. Every game is a winner-takes-all and a pure display on the hardwood, with styles of play as varied as the corners of the state the teams travel from. To win, you'll need to conjure up some of your own March magic. No one makes it through this run unscathed. There's stories of perfection, stories of redemption, and stories of some of the great names and teams to lace them up in the mitten. We've seen them all here. The greatest teams and players on the West Side conquering all. Title-winning moments only March supplies. And the end of dynasties and miracle runs that counter the unmatched elation with an equal emotional crushing. In the MHSAA basketball tournament, moments make the journey. Don't blink, because you might miss one. It's an arduous 3-week battle, but it goes by pretty quick. This is March on MGN.
Welcome back. Nate Dreyer with you here on Michigan Sports Radio. Grandville and Grand Rapids Catholic Central in the Division III Region 20 semifinal here this afternoon. And Catholic Central getting to play it on their home rink. This experienced team for head coach Mike Slobodnik that we referred to 9 players, double-digit scoring, an experienced goaltending unit as well. We look at Trent Goheen, their junior that was terrific all season long. Their sophomore Max Moore that backed him up also put up great numbers. This is a team that they didn't win the region the region a year ago, did the year before, and looking to get back on top of that. Last state champions in 2010-2011 for Catholic Central, and they were at the Final Four the 2015-2016 school year. The last time they made it all the way to USA Hockey Arena. Of course, the Grandville Bulldogs were at USA Hockey Arena 1 year ago as they were able to advance through the quarterfinals and Traverse City in that one and find their way to USA Hockey Arena and the semifinals where they ultimately fell. But, of course, for the Bulldogs, a rebuilding year, I think, is one of the things that could be worded as for this unit. But they're still back. They're still looking for 3 in a row in terms of regional championships. They're down into D3 this year. That's one of the interesting things. It's a little bit different competition, and it's a little bit different in terms of the familiarity of playoff experience, or playoff opponents, I should say, that you're normally used to seeing if you're Grandville. I think the path has been pretty much known the last few years. Think about seeing Grand Rapids Christian back-to-back years in that regional championship game. You think about seeing Rockford 1 year at Fair State, and some of those familiar teams, even familiar teams within your conference that you are then seeing throughout the playoffs. So things a little bit different in that regard. Now this is a division, a RU division battle between Grandville and Grand Rapids Catholic Central. One guy that stood out for the Bulldogs on Tuesday, of course, was Andrew Pullman. He had just a goal, and it was an empty net goal, but tons of big plays that he was able to make. Besides that, in particular, one play that stood out for Pullman, he started at his own goal line, split a couple of defenders there, raced over the Bulldog line, over the red line, split 3 more defenders at the Big Rapids line, and then eventually was able to get a shot on that. Didn't score on that one, scored later. Pullman, the senior, also had 2 goals against Byron Center to close the regular season. So the Bulldogs senior, on a team that has a lot of youth behind him, they need that top line to be motored along by Pullman. He certainly has been doing that. 23 goals during the regular season, and already with that playoff goal and that really, really solid performance that he had on Tuesday night. So Pullman can be a very critical part of the Bulldog attack for sure. Nolan Nemesek, the leading scorer for Catholic Central, 47 points on the year, including 31 goals for the senior sniper. Wears number 16 for Catholic Central. Braylon Outwater and Zach Westrick tied for the team lead in assist with 18. They both also have 34 points, so pretty even numbers in that regard that they have put up this season. So again, you can start to see that differentiation with 32 points during the regular season total for Pullman, and several guys north of that number on that top line for Catholic Central, and then a second line with guys like Ryder Mulvey. Shane Kwiatkowski has a defenseman putting up 25, 23 points respectively on the year as well. It's a deep scoring unit for Catholic Central, but of course the Bulldogs, I think there's this notion, this feeling, I think when you talk to those on the team, when you talk to the coaches as well, that this team is rounded into shape and they're looking, as I kind of said in the open, a little bit more like a traditional Grandville hockey team in terms of their structure, in terms of their play. Aiden Karras standing on his head, the freshman on Tuesday. So that's one of the first things I think you can look at to set things up with this contest is, what version of the Bulldogs do we see? Do we see this team that has been chasing leads, that's been giving up over 5 goals per game, that are very young up front in terms of learning their defensive assignments, young out back as well in terms of those same defensive assignments, and kind of been cycling through netminders? Or do we see this team that played to their structure? They played a tough physical game against Big Rapids. They got outstanding netminding from Karras. Do we see that team again? Because that's the kind of team that ultimately I think can beat Catholic Central. Catholic Central's already won twice this year, and it's one of, in sports in general, one of the greatest cliches is it's tough to beat a team 3 times, and Catholic Central already has the 2 wins. They're going to have to beat the Bulldogs a 3rd time if Grandville, if they are to move past the Bulldogs and move on to a regional championship game, likely Forest Hills Northern Eastern. That will be who it will be in the regional championship for these 2 sides. Netminding battle, like we mentioned, expected goaltenders in this one. Aiden Karras, the terrific freshman, gave up just 1 goal. He had a .259 goals against average on the season. And again, absolutely stunning performance out of the freshman. Really composed, held his own against Big Rapids, against some periods of big-time pressure and a lot of power plays for both teams in that game as well. He was terrific. And aside from that as well, Trent Goheen on the other side. Goheen, a junior, 15-6 on the regular season, 2.3 goals against average. He is terrific in net, the junior for Catholic Central, to say the least. He's got a very experienced defense unit in front of him as well. That's the one thing with Catholic Central is there's a lot of talk with this team about their offensive output when you look at the depth of scoring and scoring nearly 4.5 goals per game. on the year. They give up just over 2. This is a team that's very, very solid on the back end, very responsible defensively as well, and that's what's going to make them extra tough. And it's what's going to make the first few minutes, for me at least, this game incredibly compelling, because if you are to win, if you're the Bulldogs, do they want to jump on it? Do you want Catholic Central potentially chasing the lead? But at the same time, with two teams that are willing to fit into structure and willing to play kind of traditional quote-unquote playoff hockey in that regard, that's going to be one of the things I'll certainly have my eyes on. Are these teams looking to create early? Are they looking to jump on? Is Grandville trying to get that top scoring line that they have out jumping on it, making Catholic Central chase the lead? I think Catholic Central for sure is going to be looking to make the Bulldogs chase the lead, because that's been Grandville's problem all years. When they do give up one of those early goals, when they wind up chasing the lead, that's where they've had some of the difficulties, getting more aggressive, giving up some of the goals, getting outside of that structure that we know Grandville hockey traditionally playing. So those are some of the general things I think to look at. Zamboni about wrapped up, and we're going to have players on ice in just a few minutes. We're going to roll on here with the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show and be right back here from Southside Ice Arena.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing,
we are incredibly thankful to Grandville and the Michigan high school sports community for their support, as we've seen our audience continue to grow like wildfire, seeing upwards of 8,000 to 10,000 people in total tuning in for some of our largest Friday night and playoff coverage games. We're also, of course, thankful to the Grandville Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency and Centennial Securities for their great long-time presenting sponsorship of MGN. Because of them, all these great additions that we've been able to make over the last few years and all these plans we have going forward have been able to happen. Of course, also, we have to thank the community that is tuned in, and because of all that, we're in a position where we are looking to add partners here at MGN as we continue to look to improve that coverage going forward, along with our other due diligence looking on ahead. We can even reach out to you, the listener here today, if you, your company, or somewhere you know may have interest in partnering with Michigan Game Night. Please feel free to reach out. MGN offers a unique opportunity to sponsor both the Grandville area, get your ads reached out into the West Michigan area and beyond throughout the state of Michigan with playoff coverage. There's no one broadcast team and maybe even additional broadcasts within the MGN window that quite offer that sort of benefit for your company. And through customizable presenting sponsorship plans that are for the 2023-2024 school year, we'll even be able to throw in this winter onto these affordable plans. I think there's a unique, customizable deal that could be met to help best find the needs of your company, meet them to MGN. We are so excited about what's coming. We're thankful to the community that's been able to support us over the last few years, and we're really, really ready to see what's next. And hopefully, along with the great support from the Bates Agency and Centennial Securities, we also are going to be able to march forward with even more great things going forward. We've added video coverage, and now I think it's time to add on even more to our video, radio, and podcast coverage going forward. So thanks again, everyone, for their support. And make sure if you do have interest to reach out through MichiganGameNight.com. You can find an entire contact page right there, in particular through email, migamenight@gmail.com. There's phone numbers and more also listed that you can reach out to myself
through on the Michigan Game Night website. Thanks again, everyone. Now let's get back to the game. And welcome back here to Southside Ice Arena. Nate Dreyer with you here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. Scott Bates, Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. Grandville and Catholic Central in a regional semifinal this evening. Both teams out on the ice and have begun their warm-ups. The home whites for Catholic Central and the traveling Maroons for the Bulldogs this evening. Welcome in to Southside Ice Arena. Again, Nate Dreyer with you here today. So we've gone over some of all these kind of baseline talking points. You're looking at Catholic Central and talking about their depth of scoring. Talk about Andrew Pullman, what he's meant to the Bulldogs. Just got confirmation it will be Aiden Karras, the freshman, in net again for Grandville. He was terrific. We expect Goheen, the junior who started the vast majority of the games, to be in for Catholic Central tonight. So that sets up your net minding battle, a freshman for the Bulldogs versus a junior for Grand Rapids Catholic Central in that one. For the Bulldogs, though, it is a young team, as we talked about, and it's a team loaded with sophomores, with freshmen. But how about some of those dynamic freshmen for the Bulldogs on Tuesday night that led the way? Just talked about Karras, the netminder that was unbelievable, standing on his head, just giving up one goal late in that. Ultimately went to Luke DeBoer, the freshman, who scored the second goal of the game on a putback on the power play. He was terrific. And then Braden Vanderveen, the freshman defenseman, had the puck on his stick a lot as well, moving it up the ice, making smart defensive plays, pinning it into the offensive zone. So a lot of time, the puck was on the stick of freshmen. They were terrific. There's more freshmen up and down that lineup. Sophomores litter this Bulldog unit as well. And that's what it is. It's a learning experience in the playoffs. You're seeing game by game this team's improving. 8-18 now on the season. Not a typical Grandville mark, I think, at the end of the day. But as they've gotten to the playoffs, as you're seeing some of that youth continue to grow into their roles and figure out what their roles are on this team, that's how there's been a lot of improvement, despite kind of some struggles down the stretch. I mean, Grandville loses of 9 of the last 10 are right in there in terms of the end of the regular season. But also when the playoffs come around, you get one win, you've got a rivalry tonight, and you never know what you may have ultimately coming. Tonight's game, semifinal, regional championship, by the way, will be on Wednesday, is the schedule for that one. And then the following weekend, the quarterfinal for this division is again going to be at Eagle Ice Arena at Ferris State University. So if the Bulldogs keep rolling, we'll continue to have the coverage and we'll be there in that contest. Warm-ups continuing on right now as we've got, as you can see, about 4 minutes or so on the warm-up clock. Bulldogs working on some of their line rushes right now. And Catholic Central looks to do the same. Again, both their starting net miners in net again right now. Aiden Karras for the Bulldog, the freshman who went 5-8 on the regular season with a .259 goals against average and an .802 save percentage. Trent Goheen went 15-6 on the regular season with a .233 goals against average and a .919 save percentage for the very, very terrific junior for Grand Rapids Catholic Central this season. So that's your net mining battle that we know. And so much more to find out. Staying tuned to the first few minutes of this game to see who ultimately will wind up getting that first advantage. I think the first goal, it's always very big in contests like this, but I think that first goal is going to be more important than almost ever because I think getting the opponent to be chasing in this game is very critical for the Bulldogs. If they can get up early, if they can set into their defense, if they can have Catholic Central taking risks and trying to throw everything at them, that's more of where Grandville wants to be versus chasing with a team that doesn't have a ton of depth, that has a lot of youth deeper into their lineup. Catholic Central may be the team that will be more comfortable if they do get down chasing back. So I think incredibly important if you talk to the Bulldogs as well. They get out to a good start. They get out quickly in this one, and they ultimately tried to parlay that into a fast start and a win and move on to the regional championship. Warm-ups continue, and we have a lot more coming up. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Game Night.
The voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car. Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Again, it was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
and it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Welcome back to Southside Ice Arena. Scott Bates, Farmers Insurance Agency pregame show. Michigan Game Night also presented by Centennial Securities. We'll be hearing more from them also throughout the rest of this contest. Final 15 seconds of warm-ups are wrapping up, and we are just about ready to go here on game night with a regional semifinal. Grandville Catholic Central Classic West Michigan hockey rivals are ready to rock and roll with this one. I think we about talked it to death. We know those talking points. We know what we're looking for in terms of the initial pace, who jumps out to the first lead, the depth of scoring for Grand Rapids Catholic Central and neutralizing that for the Bulldogs, the youth versus the experience. I mean, there's nothing much more to say at this point in time. We've talked to death. We're going to be a little bit behind schedule getting this thing, obviously we're already behind schedule getting this thing underway, but as warm-ups wrap up, we'll get the ice set to go and be ready to get this game shortly underway. Both teams meet at their respective nets right now and get a final word as each team in for the start of this contest. National anthem will also be on deck here shortly as well, and we'll be able to roll into that and get ready for this one. Grandville, Grand Rapids Catholic Central on game night on Michigan Sports Radio. This is the regional semifinal here on game night. Catholic Central breaks out from around their net. They head back to the bench. They'll get ready for the anthem. The Bulldogs will do the same now, and we will also get ready for the anthem and step aside and be right back.
Exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you gotta get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it, and move all of us forward.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
All right, we are through the prayer before the Catholic Central home games here, and now also ready to get the national anthem, meeting the starting lineups right now for the Cougars of Catholic Central within the rink. Let's actually send it down to the PA to wrap that up and then move on to the anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask you please stand. Gentlemen, remove your caps. Veterans and active military have rendered the appropriate salute and join in singing our national anthem as we honor our country and the men and women who proudly defend it.
All right, here we go. Starters for Coach Joe Brazil and the Bulldogs in the back end. The freshman defenseman Braden Vanderveen. Senior defenseman Easton Pratt, who had a goal on Tuesday, gets the start up front for the Bulldogs. The sophomore Holloman, the senior Pullman, and the junior Heibel. And net is the freshman Aiden Karras for Coach Sablodnik and Grand Rapids Catholic Central. On the back end, they have their brothers Kwiatkowski, Henry, and Shane get the start. And up front, they'll have the junior forward Ryder Mulvey alongside fellow junior Nate Sova and their senior and their leading scorer Nolan Nemesek. And net is the junior Trent Goheen. Bulldogs in the traveling maroon uniforms, numbers in white, Grandville written across the front of the uniform, trimming in white. We'll move left to right across your radio dial. Grand Rapids Catholic Central, the home white uniforms, Catholic Central logo in blue on the chest. The numbers are blue with blue trimming on the shoulders and sides of the sweaters. Holloman comes to blows with Mulvey on the draw. Kwiatkowski has it taken back to him, sends it over to his brother right side, and Catholic Central has the first possession. Nate Sova forces it down into the Bulldog end. Near side collision corralled by Nolan Nemesek to the near side. Pinches one to the Bulldog line where he's able to gather it away from Pullman, fire a long shot wide from the top of the right circle. Vanderveen, the Bulldog freshman, near side, races and pushes on to Heibel, and Heibel clears to center ice. Shane Kwiatkowski sets it up there for Nemesek, rings it back in behind the Bulldog freshman netminder Karras. Moving far side, left to right, Pratt flings off the boards, glove to center ice and controlled here by Pullman. Pullman over the red line, fires down into the Catholic Central end, played by Goheen. He'll backhand far side to Henry Kwiatkowski, the sophomore. Backhanded center ice by Outwater onto a streaking Zach Westrick. Left side, Schweikert, shot, save made by Karras. Big rebound is gathered by the Bulldogs' Veneklas. Owen Veneklas through center ice over the red. Over the Catholic Central line, gave a shoulder entering to Henry Holloman. Backhands in front, tipped on into the corner. To his side, scrum over it. And it's taken down by Braden Bates to set up the offense. Bates fires off the far boards through the stick of Veneklas left circle. And the puck trickles to center ice. The Bulldogs set it back up onto the turning stick of Willman. Back into the Grandville end, Willman. He'll turn behind his own netminder, moving near side. Tries to leave the zone, kept in two by Bates with a left-hand stick from the left point. Right point, twisting shot from Henry Holloman is blocked down to the corner and settled down by the Bulldogs. Near side, chasing on ahead the freshman DeBoer, who had the second goal of the game and ultimately the winning goal for the Bulldogs. He's able to leave it on to fellow freshman chasing into the zone. Stonehouse to the front of the net, misses the net off the glass high on a tight shot in deep with some late pressure. Left side half-board battle, secured by the turning stick of Ryder Mulvey to the near side. Mulvey Mulvey backhands one along on net for Catholic Central, where Goheen plays it ahead, tip to center ice. Corralled there with a quick shot from Kulhanek that's blocked down into the offensive zone and is touched up offside. Neutral zone draw, 14:57 to go in the first, and no score early. Far side draw. Holloman takes a draw for the Bulldogs against Mulvey. And Mulvey sweeps back this one again. Nemesek up the left wing boards. Knocked away from him by Vanderveen at the red line. Scrum and a couple of checks thrown in either direction, center ice. And the Bulldogs ring it from their own blue line in behind the Catholic Central net. That is an icing, and it'll come all the way back down into the offensive zone for the Cougars. 14:47 in the first, no score. Regional semifinal here in Division 3, Region 20. Near side draw to the right side of Karras. Again, it's the same battle. Holloman locking up against Mulvey. Mulvey able to win it out to Kwiatkowski. Shot from Shane in front. Tipped in front by Sova wide. Near corner, Owen Barrett with it for the Bulldogs through a pair of Cougars is stripped. Holloman and Fields chasing down Nemesek down low. Puck collides between a couple of sticks and goes up and out of play from behind the net. It'll again be an offensive zone draw for Catholic Central. This time to the right of Karras. Mulvey, 5 and white, will draw against 10 in maroon Holloman. Tie up, Pullman raced through. Nemesek took it away from him. Nemesek in between the circles. Turn, shot goes wide from in between the circles. Backhanded along in front by Sova. Sova knocked down nicely by Pratt on the end of that play as Pratt was able to hem it down into the near corner to a side scrum. Sova turns out of there with a puck. Sova leaves in front. Mulvey, point blank shot, saved by Karras. Rebound to the corner. Sova drags right circle, drops it off for a turning Mulvey. Mulvey stripped nicely by Holloman, who takes it behind the Bulldog net, rings one around the boards, held on to left point by Shane Kwiatkowski. Long shot goes high to the Bulldogs net. Pratt chases in, got a stick on it to chase away from Mulvey near corner. Mulvey locks up there against Pratt. Backhanded in front. Sova between the legs. Backhand feed. Scores in front. Nate Sova, the junior, goes between the legs and flips it past the Bulldog netminder. It looked like a fairly innocuous play from alongside the net. It got lifted onto him, and Sova twists up the defense with a crossover and finishes high over top of the Bulldog freshman, and it is Catholic Central drawing first blood. 13:49 in the first. What a goal by Nate Sova, the junior. He had 11 tallies in the regular season. Schroeder on the draw against Pollock, and Pollock wins it back for Catholic Central the first time they put their third line on ice. Fired on net from the neutral zone, flinged to the corner by Karras for Fields, who fires it out of the zone up the far side. Paddled back in by Catholic Central, corralled behind the net by Owen Barrett. Barrett will set it up and motor to the near side, moving left to right across the radio dial, flinging off the glass over the head of Willman. Down into the Catholic Central end, the Cougars chase out of this one with Preston Berta, their junior defenseman, to the far side. Lifts through a couple of Catholic Central sticks through the neutral zone all the way back down into the Bulldog end. Icing is called off as Easton Pratt chases it down. Pratt will set it up down low, giving some pressure as he evades one stick to the left and hands off for DeBoer. DeBoer to the Bulldog line, exiting the zone, Josh Kulhanek. Kulhanek tips it ahead past Alex Sagar. Tie up near boards, flung to the far boards. Pratt chases it down first for the Bulldogs and turns down to the Grandville end. Pratt to the near side, firing to the Cougar line, tipped into the zone through the stick of Kulhanek behind the net. Goheen out of the net to play it, and this one gets tipped up and out of play. 12:42 in the second, or in the first. 1-0 Catholic Central and Sova early draw first blood with a really, really good shot in front as he went between the legs and twisted it by Aiden Karras. A packed house here at Southside Ice Arena for the regional semifinal. We're on the home rink for Catholic Central this evening. Draw comes to the left side of the Cougar net. DeBoer gets kicked out. It'll be his fellow freshman Stonehouse that'll come in to take his place for the Bulldogs. Or actually Kulhanek that'll come in and fling it to the boards looking for Stonehouse. Cougars reconvene and throw it to center ice where it's taken down by Tremel Fields. He'll fling it far boards into the corner of the Cougar end. Westrick chases down to the Grandville end, got it away from Fields, fires into the right corner for the turning stick of Drew Schweigert. Schweigert in front, shot, scores! Handed off and finishes. Drew Schweigert turns in the senior. Puts Catholic Central up 2-0 early with 12:20 in the first. The Cougars looking to make this game go the way the first two meetings did between these two. And the Bulldogs talked about how important it was for them to not be chasing a lead. They're now chasing a 2-goal lead, not even 5 minutes into the game. Drew Schweigert from the corner. The senior had 25 points during the regular season. He puts the Cougars up too early. Shane Kwiatkowski motors into the offensive zone, fires it in between the circles, bats off a couple of bodies into the near corner. Schweigert twists it away from Pratt. Holloman for the Bulldogs far corner, lifts behind the Bulldog net for Pratt. He'll backhand up the near boards for Heibel. Heibel locked up by Westrick. Heibel regathers the puck, twists away from Outwater once, lifts it up the near boards, held onto left point by Shane Kwiatkowski, who will ring it into a couple of bodies along the left wing half board. Schweigert, give and go, in front, picked off by Andrew Pullman. Pullman 2-on-2 rush, coming with Heibel into the offensive zone. Knocked off his stick by Kwiatkowski, regathers, tight angle shot, gloved and saved by the right glove of Trent 5 in the first. 2-0 Catholic Central. Drew Schweigert, Nate Sova the goal scorers early. Draw comes to the far side of Goheen in net. That's his right side. Barrett and Mulvey on the draw. Mulvey sweeps it back for Braden Bates. He'll swing it far side to near side through the extended stick of Nemesek. Nearly exited the zone. Bulldogs hang on to it to the top of the right circle. Loose puck, shot from Willman goes high, cranks all the way out left point. Tremel Fields winds and fires one that gets tipped away, and Mulvey will chase back the other way. Mulvey over the Bulldog line, nicely knocked off the puck with a bit of a shoulder from Andrew Pullman. Stolen back away by Sova at the top of the right circle. Drops right corner for Nemesek. Turns, shot, hit the side of the net. Rebound down deep. To a side after it behind the Bulldog net.
Let's go, Dogs!
Catholic Central has it. Right circle with Mulvey up top. Long shot, hit a couple of bodies in front. Nemesek tries to turn onto it. It's Sova out of the corner. Locked up in the corner by Barrett. Sova got away. Right circle in front of that. Shot tipped up and out of play. I think it was Tremel Fields that was the one that ultimately got his stick on that one and lifts it out of play. 2-0 Catholic Central with 10:45 in the first of the regional semifinal. Draw down to the Bulldog end to the left side of Aiden Karras. It'll be Barrett to take the draw for the Bulldogs against Pollock for Catholic Central. Barrett gets kicked out. Or Schroeder, I should say, gets kicked out. Veneklas will come in. One out, right point. Long shot from Catholic Central's defenseman Preston Berta is saved and directed down to the corner where Pratt lifts it to the near side, trying to exit the zone. Chased down by Schroeder. He will exit the zone. He'll motor it himself over the Catholic Central line into the right corner. Turns it there for Veneklas, right circle. Veneklas lifts down behind the Catholic Central net. Far corner, Kolhanek there first, locked up on the puck by Sagar. He'll turn away from Sagar, then gets roughed up behind the net by Preston Berta. Still with it, still dragging Kolhanek along the left wing half boards. Eventually he's double teamed and leaves it behind the Catholic Central net. Motored to by Alex Sagar. He'll restart the rush, throwing to the red line. Taken off the red line and fired off the left boards by Pollock down deep. Catholic Central goes for a change. The Bulldogs will re-attack. Blue line to blue line pass from Pratt onto Kolhanek, backhanded behind the Catholic Central net. Goheen comes out of the net. He's been very active doing so to play the puck. He played it near boards to a side scrum with the right wing half boards. Catholic Central control behind the net. Kwiatkowski up the right side, tries to exit the zone, held on to with a flip shot from Owen Barrett. Batted back into his face and trickles down into the Grandville end where Schweigert's onto it first. Tight shot, left circle, blocked down. Ricochets to the right side. We're pinching on in as Kwiatkowski to keep the zone. Kwiatkowski follows up his own driving into the zone shot and follows it down into the right corner for Schweigert. He's locked up there by Pratt, trying to race to the left-hand side. Gave it to Outwater, left corner. Down low onto the turning stick of Westrick. Westrick to the right circle. Motors to the top of the point. Hands off along the right wing half boards for Schweigert. He'll turn off. Defended here, locked up against the boards by Barrett. Fires in front, in between the circles, just out of the reach of the extended stick of Westrick. And the Bulldogs near side with Heibel throw it through the stick of Pullman's center ice. It goes all the way back down behind the Catholic Central net as Goheen, with the icing called off, comes out to play it, flings it down into the neutral zone, off the left wing half boards. Fields fires along, picked off by Catholic Central's Alex Pollock. Pollock leaves it along for a sprinting Nemesek, shot from the left-hand circle, blocked down, and Karras actually got a piece of it to make the stop, and the Bulldogs reconvene the other way. Out of his own zone, it's the freshman Braden Vanderveen that will throw it on an angle all the way down the ice. It will go for an icing, and the draw will come back down into the Bulldog end. 8:34 in the first, 2-0 Catholic Central. Drew Schweiger, Nate Sova, the goal scorers from to the right side of Aiden Karras. Holloman gets kicked out. Willman takes his place. Fellow sophomore for the Bulldogs now a Lockhorns here with Mulvey. Near side of the ice, Catholic Central moving right to left, around the left end of the ice right here on the face-off, and Mulvey has it left corner. Locked up by Holloman, turns the chasing Bulldogs into the offensive zone. Dragging down low is Pullman. Wraparound shot, save made and covered by Trent Goheen. 8:13 in the first. 2-0 Catholic Central, and again, we saw it Tuesday. It's the Bulldogs' Pullman turning nothing into something, getting a steal and going coast to coast himself and nearly getting off a good look right there. Draw to the right side of the Catholic Central net. Down low, Kwiatkowski locking up and handing off to his brother as Henry gave it to Shane off the far boards. Willman twisting down low, trying to lock it away from Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski able to gain possession out of his own corner, throw it through the stick of Pratt, back down into the Bulldog end, where it's chased down by Pullman. He loses the handle to Sova. Sova in front tries to turn the corner. Good defensive stick by Braden Vanderveen, knocks that puck away, and it's covered up and held on to by Aiden Karras. Far side draw to the left of Karras coming up here down in the Catholic Central offensive zone. Bulldogs lead the same line, led by Mason Schroeder, the sophomore, out to take this draw. It will be Alex Pollock, the junior, coming out for Catholic Central to face off against him. Long tie-up over this one. And out of the scrum in the corner, Barrett backhands. Pollock then got a piece of it, lifting out to the right-hand point where Henry Holloman throws a big hit on Veneklas, and the Bulldogs are able to exit the zone. Veneklas chases it down, top of the left circle, hands off for a flip shot there from Kolhanek that goes wide. Cougars regather. It's Goheen at center. That's Trent's brother, Luke, the freshman who lifts it along. We have a whistle, and we have a penalty coming up to Henry Holloman, going back to that hit a moment ago, and the Bulldogs will go to their first power play of the game. So down to a huge opportunity here for the Bulldogs. 7:22 in the first. 2-0 Catholic Central. Draw to the right side of Trent Goheen. Far side draw. Schroeder on the draw against Mulvey. Mulvey wins it back on to Shane Kwiatkowski, and he lifts it down into the Bulldog end where Owen Barrett will chase it down and circle behind the Bulldog net. Locked up there behind the net by Nate Sova. Sova steals it away. Turning into the right corner. Sova, shorthanded. Gave it on to Mulvey. Mulvey backhands. Bounces awkwardly to Sova. Backhand, forehand, shot in front. Save made by Karras. Rebound to the corner. Schroeder's onto it. 30 seconds gone in the power play. It's been Catholic Central down a man on the puck. Top of the left point. Shot from Henry Kwiatkowski off a handoff. Is gloved and held on to by Karras as the Bulldogs up a man continue to defend down in their own end right now. 6:48 in the first. 2-0 Catholic Central. Cougars hunting another regional championship, looking to move on past the semis, and off to a good start on this one as the Bulldogs are looking for 3 in a row in regions. Near side draw to the right side of the Bulldog netminder Karras. Swept out of there by Nemesek to the point. Shane Kwiatkowski plays with the puck, fires up top, off the backboards, hits the back of the glass, ripped out of there far boards by Luke DeBoer. DeBoer lifting center ice through the stick of Willman. It will trickle all the way in on net for Goheen, who will play it along the near boards, and that one goes up and out of play. Looks like they're going to deem it was tipped, and it is not a delay of game penalty. 6.5 in the first, 2-0 Catholic Central. 1:10 left on this Bulldog power play. They have not gotten an offensive look off yet on this power play. To the near side, the right side, the draw right here for the Bulldogs. The Schroeder line out there has Kolhanek to his left. Pullman up there playing defense right now along with Pratt for the Bulldogs. Kolhanek rips it out of the face-off scrum. Tries to hand off for Barrett, taken away from each of them by Shane Kwiatkowski, who motors to the far side and lifts one trying to clear the zone that ricochets up into the Catholic Central bench, and the Cougars will stay hemmed into their own end. 6:20 in the first, 2-0 CC. Draw to the right of Trent Goheen. Schroeder and Westrick on the draw, and Westrick gets kicked out. Nemesek will come in his place. Bulldogs went out to the left point for Pratt. Long shot, save made, big rebound. Barrett, right circle, misses the net wide with a shot. Pullman gets the rebound in the corner. Trying to fling it along, but Kwiatkowski able to strip him of the puck. Back onto Pullman, tight angle shot, save, goes through the crease and wide to the right corner. Lifted off the backboards. Kwiatkowski has it near side, held on to right point by Barrett with a flip shot down low for Kolhanek right corner. Kolhanek locked up by Kwiatkowski. Schroeder joins the scrum. Kolhanek has it. He loses it to Kwiatkowski, who rings it all the way around, but it's held on to left point with Pratt. Pratt, long shot, tipped in front by Kolhanek. Clearing attempt onto Nemesek is stripped from Nemesek by Pratt, who fires beneath the net. A long clearing attempt is gloved down by the Bulldogs Fields, but they're going to say that it was a hand pass as it went straight off his glove to a teammate, and that'll bring the puck all the way back down to the other side of the ice into the Bulldog end. 13 seconds to go on the Grandville power play. 2-0 Catholic Central with 5.5 in the first. Far side draw here of Karras. Braylon Outwater takes the draw against Mason Schroeder. Schroeder will get kicked out. Venequas comes in his place. Good to see Venequas back out there. Took a hit, missed a little bit of time during the game on Tuesday. Fields flings near to far side. Chased down by Vanderveen in his own end with 5 seconds on the power play. Clears the zone. Outwater takes it, throws it back in on Pullman, and we are back to even strength. Pullman lost it to Outwater, but he's able to tip it away from Outwater. Gave it on to Venequas, who gives back on over the red line to a streaking Pullman, who loses it at the Bulldog line. Vanderveen picks up the loose puck, fires from blue line to blue line, taken by Braden Bates. Bates motors over the Grandville line, fires into the left-hand corner. They scrum there. Outwater locking up, gave it on to Schweigert, taken away from Schweigert by Pullman. Then Pullman stripped to the puck by Westrick, who on a backhand fixes it in to the right-hand corner. Fields out of the scrum there. Behind Pullman with a pass at the blue line, trickled down to the Cougar line, where it's settled down by Berta and played into the Grandville end to Schweigert. Schweigert left circle shot, nicely played defensively by DeBoer to get a piece of that one, and it bounces into the right-hand corner. Schweigert onto it against a pair of Bulldogs, muscling his way to the point, and he tried to keep the zone with a little pass up to the right point for Holloman, but Holloman unable to quite hang on to it. He then flings it in offside back in the Grandville end. The Bulldogs look to reset things with DeBoer. He goes blue line to blue line pass looking for Heibel, and that one misses Heibel, goes all the way down the ice, and will be an icing. 4:18 in the first, 2-0 Catholic Central. The Cougars scored 2 in the first 5 minutes of the game. Things have settled down afterwards. They just came up, the Cougars did, with a power play, or a penalty kill a moment ago against the Bulldogs. DeBoer will take the draw against Mulvey. Near side here in the offensive zone for Catholic Central. Now the Cougars will complete a change and will actually send Pollock out for this draw. They tie up, racing in after it. The Cougars have possession. It's poked out then by DeBoer. Pollock regathers, throws it behind the Bulldog net, where Pratt figures it out to the left-hand point. Chasing after it is Brody Potter for Catholic Central on the backhand, lifted down into the left-hand corner. Two-a-side board battle here. Pratt standing over top of it, the last one, trying to get his stick on this one. They continue to battle and scrum. Pratt now continues to lock up as he's able to pin Potter away from the puck. It'll squirt out to Colhannock near boards. Over the blue line. Colhannock to the red line. Hands off at the Cougar line for Stonehouse. Knocked away from Stonehouse. Back to center ice. We're pirouetting on with a backhander. Pratt fires it along to the Cougar line. And Catholic Central, going for a change, sends it back down into the Grandville end where Pratt will play it along. Pratt up the far boards at the blue line, misses Schroeder with a pass off the boards, geometrically in between the circles, kicked down by Alex Sagar to center ice for Nemisek. Nemisek to the right-hand side, twisting into the zone with Sova, lost the hand, it would have been offsides. He has to reset and fire it down to the Grandville end. Left corner, two-a-side battle over this one. This top line out again for Catholic Central. Helmet comes off of Nemisek in the scrum, and a penalty is on its way to the Bulldogs. They will get Easton Pratt on the penalty. So the Bulldogs senior who had the power play goal to open scoring, minute eater as well, and an experienced senior defenseman in the penalty box. Westrick will lock horns with Schroeder on the draw to the right side of Karras. Bulldogs win it back to field, swings off the far boards, trickles in between a pair of Cougars to center ice where Braden Bates will set this one up. Bates to the near side to Westrick, drags into the offensive zone. Westrick between a pair of Bulldogs off the left wing boards, knocked away from him by Barrett. Barrett motors just to the circle, hands one off that's stolen away by Outwater. Outwater down along the left wing boards, back for Westrick, poked away by Barrett, taken back away by Outwater. Backhands, bottom of the circle for Westrick, up top for Bates, walks the blue line. Fakes a shot, left point, Westrick. Westrick lifts one down low for Outwater. Back in between the circles for Westrick. On the knee, couldn't hang on to it. Willman takes one to the circle, lost the handle to Westrick, who off balance fires one wide of the net. Off the right boards, Drew Schweigert. Lost his footing and regathers. Right circle. Schweigert leaves it for Westrick. Over to Bates. Shot, scores on the power play. Braden Bates, the sophomore defenseman, makes it 3-0 Catholic Central. Tic-tac-toe in the sophomore D-man, able to put it top shelf and put the Cougars up 3. DeBoer wins the draw back for the Bulldogs, who now find themselves chasing a 3-goal deficit. At center ice off the far boards, Colin Hoffer has it for the first time for the Cougars. Lifts behind the net for the turning stick of Vanderveen. Far corner locked up by Westrick. Inside the final 2 minutes of the first. Bulldogs clear their own end all the way down on net. Trent Goheen comes out to play it. Able to get as far as center ice where DeBoer had it. Loses it to Pollock, who leaves it on at the red line for Luke Goheen. And Goheen twists it down into the Grandville end, and the Cougars go for a change. Vanderveen far side, lifting to the Bulldog line, tipped ahead by Heibel, all the way down into the Catholic Central end, behind the Catholic Central net, and that will be an icing against the Bulldogs. 95 seconds in the first, 3-0 Cougars of Grand Rapids Catholic Central. Draw to the left side of Aiden Karras. Barrett sweeps, or has it swept back to him by Schroeder. Rings it around from the far boards to the near side left point. Kwiatkowski lifts it down left corner for Nate Sova. Sova hands off for Ryder Mulvey. Mulvey backhands to the corner. Taken into the boards by Holloman. Out of there, Schroeder backhands just out of the Bulldog and to the red line, where it's chased down right side by Kwiatkowski and thrown down behind the Bulldog net. Far boards Willman, on for Pullman. Pullman has it, stripped of him by Mulvey to the front of the net, backhand scores! Steal into a score for Ryder Mulvey, and it's 4-0 Catholic Central. Mulvey's been very active, and now the junior with his first goal of the game. And the Cougars walking away already 4-0 inside the final minute of the first of the regional semifinal. Bulldogs win the ensuing draw. Out to Colhannock, chases right side into the Catholic Central end, taken away by Braden Bates. Fires near side to far side to center ice. Pratt has it there at the red line, tries to lift ahead, got bodied up, and Brody Potter takes it, races over the red line, fires down into the left corner of the Bulldog zone. Far side, Veneklas. Lost the handle, top of the right circle, twisting Luke Goheen in between the circles for Catholic Central off the steal, knocked away, taken by Pratt, and the Bulldog captain will lift it from his own end on an angle all the way down behind the Cougar net, and that is an icing with 28 seconds in the first. It will take a Herculean effort from the young Bulldogs at this point in time, down 4 in the first. After 2 quick goals in the first 5 minutes for Catholic Central, the Bulldogs had neutralized things a little bit, but throwing a power play goal, throwing that last steal to a score, and CC is back on it. Left corner, Brody Potter chasing through a trio of Bulldogs in between the circles. Hands off up top for Henry Kwiatkowski. Long shot directs to the corner. Behind the Bulldog net, nice play made to get free from the Bulldogs. Pratt lifts one into the neutral zone, tipped back into the Catholic Central and settled down far boards by Kwiatkowski. Lifts it just into the neutral zone, and that does it for the first. 4-0 after 1, Catholic Central all over Grandville in this one. We welcome you into the Centennial Securities Intermission Report. And things probably couldn't have gone much better for Catholic Central, could not have gone much worse for the Bulldogs in the first period of this one. It is 4-0 after 1. Ryder Mulvey, Drew Schweigert, Nate Sova, and Braden Bates all score goals for GRCC in the first, and the Bulldogs are certainly chasing this game now. Talked about how important it was, for the Bulldogs to score first, to put Catholic Central on the back foot. The opposite of that happens. The opposite of that happens times 4 as Catholic Central puts up 4 in the first, and they lead this one at the first break of the contest. We're going to step aside here in the Centennial Securities Intermission Report. When we come back, we'll again kind of go through the scoring, recap that first period, and start to look ahead at what Coach Brazil and company can do for the Bulldogs to try to find their way back into this one. Do not go anywhere.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Hi everyone, Nate from MGN. Hopefully everyone is enjoying today's presentation of Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. We are incredibly proud of the last few seasons of MGN and the coverage and broadcast editions that we've been able to bring, including adding in-house produced video coverage this winter. We also are very, very excited for the future and have some big plans on how to expand and improve further upon our video, podcast, and radio coverage. We are incredibly thankful to Grandville and the Michigan high school sports community for their support as we've seen our audience continue to grow like wildfire, seeing upwards of 8,000 to 10,000 people in total tuning in for some of our largest Friday night and playoff coverage games. We're also, of course, thankful to the Grandville Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency and Centennial Securities for their great long-time presenting sponsorship of MGN. Because of them, all these great additions that we've been able to make over the last few years and all these plans we have going forward have been able to happen. Of course, also, we have to thank the community that is tuned in, and because of all that, we're in a position where we are looking to add partners here at MGN as we continue to look to improve that coverage going forward, along with our other due diligence looking on ahead. We can even reach out to you, the listener here today, if you, your company, or somewhere you know may have interest in partnering with Michigan Game Night.
please feel free to reach out. MGN offers a unique opportunity to sponsor both the Grandville area, get your ads reached out into the West Michigan area and beyond throughout the state of Michigan with playoff coverage. There's no one broadcast team and maybe even additional broadcasts within the MGN window that quite offer that sort of benefit for your company. And through customizable presenting sponsorship plans that are for the 2023-2024 school year, we'll even be able to throw in this winter onto these affordable plans. I think there's a unique customizable deal that could be met to help best find the needs of your company, meet them to MGN. We are so excited about what's coming. We're thankful to the community that's been able to support us over the last few years, and we're really, really ready to see what's next. And hopefully, along with the great support from the Bates Agency and Centennial Securities, we also are going to be able to march forward with even more great things going forward. We've added video coverage, and now I think it's time to add on even more to our video, radio, and podcast coverage going forward. So thanks again, everyone, for their support. And make sure if you do have interest to reach out through MichiganGameNight.com. You can find an entire contact page right there, in particular through email, migamenight@gmail.com. There's phone numbers and more also listed that you can reach out to myself through on the Michigan Game Night website. Thanks again, everyone. Now let's get back to the game.
Whenever they can.
Academic excellence, character-driven athletics, Christ-centered community involvement.
Cornerstone has been a great opportunity for me to grow as a leader, just being able to approach people and be warm and welcoming and hospitable.
Experience it for yourself. Attend a Golden Eagle Day at Cornerstone for a taste of campus life and the chance to meet faculty and staff. To arrange a visit for your high school junior or senior, go to cornerstone.edu. Cornerstone University. Build a life that matters.
A sense of purpose, a higher calling. At Dean Transportation, we call it our passion. It's simply who we are. 60 years of pioneering the best health and safety standards because safe student transportation is essential. We are hard-working folks, connecting children to learning, schools to our communities, and you to a better career. Want to make your community a better place? We'll put you in the driver's seat. Join the Dean family today and help to connect our kids to brighter futures.
Compete against your friends or family, throwing a football at 10 real bowling pins. You can bring in your own food, or they have a pair of 45-foot bars featuring soft drinks and adult beverages. Visit foldingwarehouse.com, Grand Rapids, to reserve your lanes.
Founded in 1969, J&H Family Stores has grown from a single tank truck to over 50 convenience store locations in West Michigan. Our locations offer a variety of fuel options ranging from Exxon, Mobil, Marathon, and Citgo. At many of our stores, you'll also be pleased to find a Tim Hortons or Subway. Find the location near you by visiting myjhfamilystores.com. There's one in your neighborhood.
Thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Rather than just always relying on one player. Yeah, Scott Bates Agency pregame show continues here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. CT, I think the next thing that you have to mention most notably in this contest It breaks me every time still. Every single time that happens, it gets me. The winners still go to the Heartland student section last year at the Breslin Center. Those guys win every time. Season. And we'll wrap up our broadcast with the Heinz Orthodontics smile of the game.
Driver. I am Chandler Timmer.
Oh, wow.
We're going to leave this in.
All right.
This is staying in the show. He is Chandler Timmer. I am Nate Dreyer. This is what happens when you work together for 6 years. The names are one.
We're just one, yeah.
Chandler Timmer, Nate Dreyer. Chandler Timmer, Nate Dreyer. Michigan game night, tailgate report. We clearly have to stop talking. I do at least. I will see you all. I see you too. Friday night, Grandville, Wyoming. I think 6:30. We're on the air for that. Goodbye.
And Cam Regner's has scoring report for the Panthers. 4 points thrown at that point guard position. Tough backcourt in general. Getting to some of those other pieces that we have out there. After 3 years, it finally almost came down on me. Good catch. I don't know what kid caught that, but that was a good catch. But regardless, a tough back. And welcome back here, Southside Ice Arena. Nate Dreyer with you here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. Kind of quickly through that Centennial Securities intermission, and both teams back out on ice. Also to quick reset something on our stream, but we're back and running. Didn't even lose YouTube this time. Getting back and running 4-0 after the first. Catholic Central all over Grandville. Mulvey, Schweigert, Sova, and Bates score for the Cougars and Coach Sablodnik. And the Bulldogs will be chasing. Catholic Central in the home white jerseys will go left to right across the radio dial this period. The Bulldogs in the traveling maroons go right to left. Karras, Goheen back in their respective nets. And we are about ready to go. Holloman will take this draw against Ryder Mulvey. Second period underway. Pullman dragging through for the Bulldogs, knocked away at the Cougar line with left-hand stick of Kwiatkowski, lifted to center ice, and the Bulldogs clear back down behind Goheen, who comes out to play it. Near side, Kwiatkowski trying to fire out of the zone, held on to, top of the left circle, pinned against the boards with Pullman, lifts left point to Pratt. Pratt fires one that tips in between the circles for a turning shot from Holloman into the left corner. Pullman has it. Left point, Pratt. Long shot through traffic. Seeing eye shot, but a good pad save made directed to the corner. Up top for Pratt. Shot pass is blocked down and stolen on by Mulvey. Streaking over the red line, able to fire into the Bulldog at net or end to the turning corner, or the turning stick of Sova in the corner. He'll lift down along the far boards. Heibel has it for the Bulldogs. He'll clear the zone to center. Off the far boards, backing along is Kwiatkowski, lifting down behind the Bulldog net. Near side in the corner, Pratt has a shot pass down the ice, blocked away in his own corner. Lifting along on a second effort for Pullman, stolen again by the Cougars here. At the right point, backhanded along by Sova into the corner, stripped away by the Bulldogs. Vanderveen, and the freshman lifts to center ice, where it's settled down by Henry Kwiatkowski and lifts it around and behind the Bulldog net into the right corner. Pratt chases there against Nemesek. At the circle, Nemesek takes the puck, drives through a couple of defenders, shot blocked down. By the way, Karras is out of the Bulldog net. Actually, quick correction, is Annie Beck that will start the second. So the Bulldogs senior netminder Beck, who was in net last year on that entire run towards the state semifinals, will be back in net for the Bulldogs. So Beck, the senior, is in. Karras is out for the Bulldogs this second period. 15:25 in the second, 4-0 Catholic Central. Draw to the left of Beck here. Schroeder will size up for the Bulldogs against Outwater. Out of the tie-up, here's Veneklas near side. Drags over the red line, down to the Cougar line. Veneklas lifts down into the Catholic Central end. Near board to a side scrum. Pokes out behind Catholic Central's net. Bates goes to play it. He'll fling it off the far boards to the right-hand point. Westrick hands off there for Schweigert. Schweigert drags to the Cougar line. Lost it. Hands off for Westrick. Westrick able to get it out of the Catholic Central end, but hands it back down into the Catholic Central end as Holloman takes it right side, lifting to center ice to Stonehouse. Stonehouse took a check, handing off for Kulhanek. Kulhanek left circle, shot directed to the corner by Goheen off the far boards at the top of the right circle. Berta tries to backhand to the corner, and a penalty is coming back from one of those earlier hits. And it will put the Bulldogs back onto the power play, down 4-0 with 14:43 in the second. It is Westrick going to the box for the Cougars. Draw to the left side of Trent Goheen, far side draw, and the Bulldogs to the man advantage. Schroeder wins it out to the point for Pratt. Left point through the stick of Pullman, races off the boards and backhands down low, taken away by Kwiatkowski. Here comes Henry Kwiatkowski, put a strafe move on over his own blue line, gave it on to a streaking Sova into the zone. Sova races left corner, locked up by Pratt here. 20 seconds off the Bulldog power play. Stolen away, backhanded in front by Mulvey. The net came off its moorings as Beck made a save. Quite the play made by Sova to strip and steal and then falling to the ice. Backhands in, and Beck makes the stop. So again, it was the freshman Karras that started. The senior Annie Beck now in net for the Bulldogs. Draw comes to her right. Feels Owen Barrett near side onto Kulhanek. Kulhanek drags over the Cougar line into the offensive zone. Backhands near corner. First onto it, Pullman for the Bulldogs. Pullman lifts left point. Pratt shot pass in front, tipped in by Kulhanek and cleared back to center ice for the turning stick of Pratt. Pratt to the far side, locks up against Mulvey, drags in the offensive zone, knocked away from his stick far boards by Kwiatkowski, and Kwiatkowski will take it and wrap one all the way down the ice. But Nemechek, fresh on the ice at center ice, gloves it down, goes on net, fires one wide on a breakaway, and the Bulldogs will reset in their own end here with Pratt. Nemechek fresh on the ice, a big opportunity there about halfway through the Grandville power play as the clearing attempt found him and he gloved that down. At center ice, Lucas Willman for the Bulldogs loses the handle as he drags into the zone. Away from him, Kwiatkowski lifts it all the way down into the Grandville end where Outwater chases after Pratt. Pratt is able to win that battle, lifting it up the right side. We have a whistle down again right here, 13-15 in the second. And this time it is going to send Easton Pratt to the penalty box as the Bulldogs touch it up. So Pratt to the box for the second time in this one with 13-15 in the second. 32 seconds of 4-on-4 coming up before Catholic Central will go to the man advantage. Draw to the right side of Beck here on the far side in the Bulldog end. Catholic Central goes left to right. Grandville goes right to left this period. One out left point to Bates. Size it up. Long shot through traffic. Save made by Beck. Backhanded. Pair of Catholic Central bodies in front. Finished off by Mulvey on that last backhand. The Bulldogs clear it out to the left point. Shot pass down low. Vanderveen pushes to the corner on to Fields. Fields near corner. Motors across the ice. Locked up against the boards by Sova. Sova has it out of the scrum. Sova reverses direction behind the Bulldog net. Lifts out to the left point for Berta. Berta right side to Bates. Bates pirouettes top of the right circle along the boards. Hands off for Sova. Up top, the Bulldogs now down a man as Catholic Central comes back to even strength. 120 on their power play. Right point twisting along. Ryder Mulvey leaves it for Nemechek fresh on the ice. Here's Nemechek. Shot right circle. Save made and held on to by Beck. Leading scorer for Catholic Central. Fresh on the ice gets a look there, but Beck with an answer. She's been perfect since she entered to start this second period for the Bulldogs. 12-24 in the second. Still 4. Draw captain. Dragging right corner out to the right point for Kwiatkowski. Walks the blue line back onto Sova. Sova stripped to the puck, and DeBoer, the freshman, backhands it all the way down into the Catholic Central end. Played along by Goheen to center ice. It's Nemechek angling over the red line into the Bulldog end. Nemechek, left circle, shot goes wide. Big rebound to Outwater, bottom of the left circle. Outwater down to the right corner with it. Out to the right point for Kwiatkowski. Shane Kwiatkowski walks the blue line, fans on a shot. Poked away from him by Schroeder with 8 seconds on the power play for Catholic Central. 5 seconds or less. Kwiatkowski into the Grandville end. The defenseman rolling into the zone. The Bulldogs back to even strength with Pratt out there. Kwiatkowski up top for Outwater. In between the circle. Shot save made into the crest and held on to by Annie Beck. 11:08 in the second. 4-0 Catholic Central. No scoring yet in the second frame. Both teams getting a bit of a look at a power play during this period. Near side draw. It is to the left of Beck. Holloman gets kicked out for the Bulldogs. He's was locking horns with Westrick. Now Pullman comes in. Draw one out right point. Shot from Henry Holloman for Catholic Central. Bounces behind the Bulldog net. Off the far boards. Grandville able to clear to center ice. And here's Holloman for Catholic Central. Over the red line. Lifting down right corner. First down to it, Vanderveen for the Bulldogs. Now Pratt races to his aid in a 2-on-2 scrum. Freshman Vanderveen with it near boards. Got it on to Pullman. Pullman over the Cougar line. Striking over the red line. Into the offensive zone. Pullman toe drag. Double team from behind. Goes crashing into the Catholic Central net. The net came off of its moorings at the end of the play. And a whistle cuts the air. Pullman trying to go coast to coast as he did so many times on Tuesday. Again right there and create. The draw will stay. Where are they going to send this? I think it's going to come back to the neutral zone. That will be the case. It's near side neutral zone, just shaded towards the Catholic Central end. Mason Schroeder the draw. On Alex Pollock, and Schroeder wins it straight back to Pratt. Pratt at the blue line, his own blue line, backhanding along. Pollock had it, loses it to Pullman. Pullman lifting for Willman center ice. Knocked away from him, down in the Grandville end. Near side, Vanderveen chases it down. Lifts far side to Pratt. The Bulldog senior surveys his option. Hits the streaking Pullman into the offensive zone. Double teamed, loses the handle, twisting Kwiatkowski from far side to near side. Throws it off the boards. Left point, Pratt fires a shot to keep it into the zone. In the right corner, Schroeder. Off the right wing half boards, locked up against the boards. Willman joins to help. Moved along to Pullman, back on to Willman, bottom of the right circle, tips one on net, save made by Goheen, rebound near side, chased ahead by Potter, and pitchforks it down into the Grandville end for Vanderveen. Vanderveen on his horse, behind the Grandville net, leaves a backhand pass for the senior captain, Easton Pratt. 9:46 in the second. Pratt splitting a pair of defensemen over the red line, chasing over into the offensive zone, lost the handle, handing off for Willman, who came in offsides on an awkward exchange, and the draw comes to the neutral zone. 9:41 in the second, 4-0 Catholic Central. DeBoer the draw against Mulvey here. Mulvey wins it back into his own end off the far boards. Alex Sagar lifts all the way down into the Grandville end. The icing is called off as it was tipped in Trammell Fields near side. Onto it for the Bulldogs. Fields locked up right point. Stolen away by Sova. Sova motors in between the circles. Shot. Rebound came right back to him. Tips one on net. Another big rebound to the bottom of the right-hand circle for Nemesek. Hard shot through the crease wide. Long rebound. Top of the point. Kulhanek clears the zone down to the Catholic Central end, and that is an icing. Again, the active play of Nate Sova, the junior with a goal already. All over the place here as this top line of Nemesek, Sova, and Mulvey is as dangerous of a top unit as you're going to find. They will clear off the ice, and Coach Slavonik will get a change right here. 9:10 to go in the second. 4-0 Grand Rapids Catholic Central over Grandville. Draw down to the Bulldog end. Swept back to Kwiatkowski. Shot tips wide, near corner. Along the boards, they scrum after it. Twisted out of there by Schweiger. Schweiger leaving on the backhand. Outwater down in the corner for Westrick. Westrick along the left wing half boards, leaving back for Outwater left corner. Turns at the circle. Shot from Outwater goes wide. And that is actually going to be directed up and out of play. Looks like Back just got a piece of that one to tip it up, so the draw will stay in the Grandville end. 8:48 in the second. 4-0 CC. Draw to the right of Beck. Schroeder takes the draw against Mulvey here. The top line back out for the Cougars. Tie up at the circle. Stolen away by the Cougars in front. Nemesek, point blank save made by Beck. Then he puts it home and scores. 5-0 Cougars. The senior, Nolan Nemesek, has been waiting on a few opportunities in front. That time he's able, after initially getting stonewalled by Beck, to follow it up and put Catholic Central up by a handful. 5-0 Grand Rapids Catholic Central. Schroeder and Mulvey on the draw. We're back underway. Grandville going right to left. Catholic Central going left to right. Mulvey has it left side into the Grandville end. Hands off for Nemesek. Fires off the boards for Mulvey. Back on to Nemesek at the left circle. Fields was, or Willman I should say, was trying to play that one away. He was able to just get enough of it to fire it down into the right corner where Pratt motors onto it here for the Bulldogs. Pratt off the near boards to the top of the point. Stolen by Sova. Sova lifts left circle. Nemesek shot. That goes wide to the left-hand side. Tipped near boards onto Veneclas, and Veneclas able to twist it away from the defenseman and race the other way. 2-on-1 break. Here is Veneclas. Left circle. Mulvey from behind got a stick on it to strip it away. Veneclas down low, lifts out right point to Fields, who's fresh on the ice. He'll backhand pitchfork one behind the Catholic Central net. Chased down near side by Alex Sagar. Sagar to set it up. Chased down by Kulhanek and lifts to center ice, and actually will lift all the way down as it trickles into the Grandville end for Fields. Fields near side. Backing along with Will Mulder, and Mulder down throws it behind the Catholic Central end. Kulhanek gets there first. Kulhanek leaving for DeBoer right corner. DeBoer along the half boards. Backhanding for Mulder. Mulder trying to drag away from some tight pressure on him from Pollock. Kulhanek turns the corner, left corner, now gets sent down on the ice by Pollock, and a two-a-side scrum will take him into the corner. Kulhanek gets shoved down. A penalty is coming as he was bodied up by Preston Berta, and as it gets whistled down, the Bulldogs will go back to the man advantage with 7:13 in the second, now trailing 5-0. Late shot right there from Berta sends his man to the ice. And off he goes. So draw will stay down in the Catholic Central end to the right side of Trent Goheen. That's a near side draw. And the Bulldogs go 5-on-4 here with Berta in the box. Westrick will take the draw against Schroeder. Westrick won it back, but it's tipped out left point to Pratt. Fires right side through the stick of Barrett back to center ice. Cougars have it with Henry Kwiatkowski. He'll lift down to the Grandville end. First onto it. Far corner, chasing near corner with Pratt. Pratt up the left side, starting the counterattack over the red line. Pratt twisting away from one man over the Cougar line, loses the handle, and Kwiatkowski throws it all the way back down behind the Bulldog net. Beck comes out to play it and set the play. 1:34 and less on the Grandville power play. Andrew Pullman stripped to the puck in his own end by Outwater. Outwater chasing after Barrett and steals it back away again. Outwater, tight angle shot, blocked away all the way out right point onto the chasing Shane Kwiatkowski. Put a strafe move on, right circle, shot goes wide off the left boards. His brother Henry picks it up left point. Kwiatkowski shot, blocker down by Beck from a standing position into the left corner. Westrick has it, down a man, Catholic Central on the attack. Thrown in between the circles, ripped away into the right corner with Sova. Left point, shot Kwiatkowski, blocked down in front. Sova the rebound, left corner. First half of the power play gone. It's been mostly Catholic Central. Sova, this one that goes through the stick of Henry Kwiatkowski at center ice. He'll throw to his brother at the Cougar line. Backing into his own end, Kwiatkowski fires this one, trying to go all the way down into the Grandville end. It was gloved down by Pratt, stolen away from Pratt, center ice by Sova. Sova now turns the corner and throws it all the way down behind the Bulldog net where Barrett races to it. Barrett fans on a pass up the ice, stolen away left corner by Ryder Mulvey. In front for Sova, right in between the circles. Shot, save made, getting a piece of it back. Chasing to the corner, Veneclas onto it for the Bulldogs. 26 seconds on their power play. They have been defending most of the time on this kill. In front for Barrett. Barrett clears his own end, and it'll go all the way down the ice. Kwiatkowski there first, and it's an icing on the power play for the Bulldogs. 5:26 in the second, 13 seconds to go on the penalty to Berta. DeBoer Stonehouse chasing to center ice, knocked away from him by Bates, back down into the Grandville end, 5 seconds and less. And Catholic Central comes back to even strength as Vanderveen throws over the Bulldog blue line, down to the Catholic Central blue line, backhanding along and picking up the puck is Henry Holloman for Catholic Central. Throws right side to Pollock. Pollock backhands into the Grandville end from center ice. Vanderveen chases it down for the Bulldogs, far side. Vanderveen off the boards, exits the zone, center ice. Bates had it, losing it to DeBoer, dragging through 1 against 3, and the Cougars settle it back down with Henry Holloman from his own blue line. Holloman misses Goheen center ice. It goes all the way down and will be an icing. 4:45 in the second, 5-0 Catholic Central. Draw to the left side of Trent Goheen, the Catholic Central junior. Pollock wins the draw back for CC. Rung to the near side through the stick of Colin Hoffer. He now resettles it over the red line. Chased down and hit from behind by Willman, lifting down into the Grandville and Pratt. Able to get it to Heibel over the red line, but Heibel with some difficulties winds up having it tipped up into his own bench. And that'll stop the play with 4.5 in the second. 5-0 Grand Rapids Catholic Central in the MHSAA Region 20 semifinal here in Division 3. All Cougars on their home ice here on this Saturday afternoon. As they look to advance on, make sure you check out at MI Game Night on social. Basketball playoff starting. Up top, a shot from Pratt, chased down by Holloman, and Catholic Central on the counterattack, shut down by Pratt. But, of course, girls basketball playoff starting. Bulldog basketball on the boys' side as well continuing on, and we'll see what else is going on. Grandville in the offensive zone. Up top for Pratt. Ran into his own man and tips out to center ice where it's backhanded and pitchforked along by Max Wolkowitz. Henry Holloman for Catholic Central throws blue line to blue line, settled down into the zone by Schweiger. Shot, save made, as it was a really good second look then for Outwater. Bulldogs cleared out of there, out to the right point for Holloman, and we got a whistle down off the play as the net came off of its right mooring. 3:49 in the second, 5-0 GRCC. Draw to the left side of Beck here, down in the offensive zone for Catholic Central. Mulvey Schroeder on the draw. And they both get kicked out. Nemesek now comes in for the draw on Pullman. And he'll win it back. Nemesek will to Mulvey. Mulvey split by one defender. Tight angle shot, misses, goes off the boards. Rebound, put home, they score. 6-0 Catholic Central. It's the second of the night for Nemesek on the putback. And the Cougars lead by half a dozen. A shot from point-blank range went wide, but it wound up being a perfect assist right onto the stick of Nemesek, who was able to tip it home from in front off the rebound. And it's 6-0 Catholic Central with 3:43 in the second. Kolhanek over the Cougar line, throws down behind Goheen. Chased far corner, first down to it. Sagar for Catholic Central, locked up by Stonehouse. He is able to lift along to Sam Moore, who touches the puck for the first time for the Cougars along the far boards. Hands off for Hoffer, trying to exit his own zone. And this one gets tipped on a hard ricochet into the crowd, out of play. 3:23 in the second, 6-0 Catholic Central. Draw to the left side of Goheen in net. DeBoer gets kicked out. It'll be Kolhanek coming in to take the draw instead against Hoffer. Tie up over this one, and Hoffer wins that battle. Motors over his own blue line, throwing it down to the Bulldog blue line to Connor Schetz. Schetz throws across along the right wing half boards, tips back to the neutral zone, chased down by Berta. Penalty off the puck is called as Berta had it touched up, and the Bulldogs will go back to the power play with Moore going to the penalty box. They may have gotten an elbow against him or a high stick potentially, but it will be Moore going to the penalty box here with 3:08 in the second. The Bulldogs down 6-0. We'll go back to the man advantage. Had some issues last time up a man as they spent a lot of their time defending. Draw to the right of the Catholic Central net. Minder. Goheen. Westrick wins it back. Kwiatkowski locks up against Kolhanek against the boards. Schroeder comes to help. Pullman left corner, lifting left point for Pratt. Pratt drags it off the boards where he had it pinned and throws out left point for Pullman. Pullman dragging by a defender. Left circle, shot, save made by Goheen. It may have been tipped in front by Kolhanek as well. Goheen never saw it, but that one tips up and out of play. 2:50 in the second and 1:43 on the Bulldog power play. Near side draw to the right of Trent Goheen. Schroeder, Westrick on the draw to lock horns here. Westrick gets kicked out. Outwater will take his place. Cougars win it back. Shane Kwiatkowski lifting high off the glass to center ice. Actually, it doesn't quite get there. It's taken by Schroeder. Schroeder motors along the blue line and fires a long shot that's gloved and held onto by Goheen. Official call is a roughing penalty that sent Sam Moore to the box, the junior. Draw to the left side of Goheen with 1:34 on the Bulldog power play here in the second. 6-0 Catholic Central, and the Cougars win this one back. Kwiatkowski from the far side rings it around near side at the point. Scrum over this one. Pullman can't hang on to it, and Pratt at center ice loses the handle a couple of times. He races to it a couple of times and regathers to the right-hand side. Throws back to the Bulldog line to Barrett. Barrett for Kolhanek, back down at the red line to Pratt. Good move to split a couple of defenders. Now he is stripped and regathers against Kwiatkowski along the left wing boards. Pratt gets some help from Schroeder left boards. Kwiatkowski staying on the battle. Sent along for Pullman left corner. Kwiatkowski took it away. Pullman takes it back away from him down low and hands off for DeBoer right corner. Up to the right point for Fields. Fields over left point, Pratt. Pratt, long shot, blocked down in front. Rebound is cleared out of there by the Cougars onto a streaking Potter. Potter chasing away from Fields into the offensive zone, settles it down right corner. 41 seconds on the Bulldog power play. The Cougars on the offensive side of the ice right now locking up. Grandville 3 against 1 are able to corral it out of there. Now taken back away at the right circle by Luke Goheen. Stolen away by Pullman. Pullman goes for a skate. Over the Cougar line. On the backhand, poked away from him by Kwiatkowski. Luke Goheen out of his own end through a check. Throws it all the way down onto back to set it up with 15 seconds on the power play for the Bulldogs. 1:20 in the second. Bulldogs lose it up top to Goheen. Goheen fires right circle. Ring went off the pipe, and the rebound back the other way on to Holloman. Holloman dragging into the zone for the Bulldogs. He would have been offside as there's a bit of a miscommunication there for the Bulldogs. Vanderveen came in late to throw it in, and he was offside on that delayed call. And the Bulldogs will give up the power play and give up that possession back to center ice. For both teams, back to 5-on-5 as we go to the final 1:07 of the second. Far side draw, Holloman and Luke Goheen. Check that. It was Pollock out there on the draw for Catholic Central. He wins it. Goheen given right side to Potter. Potter chases over the rush back the other way. Backhanding along Willman. Left corner chasing down Henry Holloman after the puck. At the left circle, an awkward backhand flip on net from Willman is held on to by Goheen. 35 seconds in the second. 6-0 Catholic Central. They scored 4 in the first. They have 2 more in this period. Bulldogs in the offensive zone. Win out left point here on to Wolkwitz. Wolkwitz throws down left corner. Kolhanek roughed up from behind by Holloman. Schroeder backhands into the near corner. Kolhanek again onto it for the Bulldogs. Helped out here by Mulder. Kolhanek has it. Backing off at the left circle. Spins into a shot. Save made by Goheen. Big rebound out to the right point. Is backhanded along into the corner by Pratt. Schroeder through a couple of defenders. Loses it down behind the net. Nemesek onto it out of his own end. Lifting near side through the stick of Sova. All the way down the ice, and that will do it for the second. 6-0 after 2 as Catholic Central was able to extend their advantage in the second frame. Welcome into the Centennial Securities second intermission report. 6-0 CC, and a dominant effort for the Cougars, who are just 17 minutes away from a trip to a regional championship. We saw Nolan Nemesek, the senior, showing off some of his skill, stepping up in that second frame of play to help extend things a little bit more. Ryder Mulvey also coming up, and along with Schweigert and Sova and Bates, the goal scorers for Catholic Central through 2 periods. We're going to step aside here on the Centennial Securities halftime show. When we come back, a lot more to get to from this one.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
you've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Michigan Sports Academies offers quality youth sports in Grand Rapids, Holland, and Muskegon. With a wide variety of programming, MSA has something for new athletes who are just starting out to experienced athletes looking to take their game to the next level. Year-round programming is offered in basketball, lacrosse, soccer, and volleyball. Your athlete will love the quality of instruction from experienced coaches in state-of-the-art facilities conveniently located in Grand Rapids and along the lakeshore. Check us out at MichiganSportsAcademies.com.
Don't just find yourself, make yourself. Start businesses, build bridges, save lives, raise a whole city. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
Welcome back here to and our Centennial Securities intermission report. 6-0 Catholic Central over Grandville at the end of 2 here in this one. Goal scorers: Ryder Mulvey, Drew Schweigert, Nate Sova, Braden Bates, along with Nolan Nemesek, who has 2 for Catholic Central. The Bulldogs so far held off the score sheet. Terrific performance in that as well for Trent Goheen with a shutout through 2 for the Cougars. Quick word from the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame that celebrates the city's rich sports history by honoring prominent West Michigan athletes and those who have contributed greatly to sports on a local, state, or national level. The GRS-HUF also presents annual events in support of West Michigan athletics and raises funds to support local youth organizations and charities. Follow the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame on Facebook and check out pictures and biographies of all 181 inductees at GRSHOF.com. Of course, thanks to Centennial Securities and the Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency, are presenting sponsors here at Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. Centennial Securities is a community service-focused, locally owned investment firm with strong Midwestern values. Since the day they opened their doors in 1978, they have and will continue to recognize that it's not prudent to take a one-size-fits-all approach to investing. Check out Centennial Securities online at centennialscc.com. And Scott Bates is your local Grandville, Jedison, and Hudsonville Farmers Insurance agent, is a great longtime supporter of Game Night and offers business insurance, auto, homeowners coverage, and more. Give Scott a call today at 616-531-3441 or stop into the agency located at 3181 Prairie Street Southwest in Grandville. Scott actually is here at the game today. Just had a chance at the first intermission to talk to him. His son, Braden, who scored in the first period of this one, of course, plays for Catholic Central. So great to see Scott with him there. One of our, of course, our longest supporter here at Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio and MichiganGameNight.com. All right, a lot more still to get to here on the Centennial Securities second intermission report. 6-0 Catholic Central in the regional semifinal.
Can you name the 10 winners of the Nobel Peace Prize or the last 5 Miss Americas? The point is the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car.
My car!
And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Need to replace that worn-out carpet or floor? Floor Coverings International makes it easy. They bring their mobile showroom to you. Save yourself the trip and gas shopping around. See a wide selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, and vinyl in the lighting of your own home. Go to floorcoveringsinternational.com today for your free consultation. Work with one team for a hassle-free experience from the quote to installation. And each Floor Coverings International business is independently owned and operated, so they are local business owners in our community. Floor Coverings International, the flooring store at your door.
Are you looking for a new career? Aetna Supply is hiring. Aetna Supply is Michigan's #1 plumber wholesaler, servicing local customers for over 50 years. They offer great benefits, a 401k with company match, quarterly bonuses, and no Sundays. Once again, check them out at aetnasupply.com/careers or click on their logo on the Michigan Sports Radio homepage.
Looking for a great place to buy a used truck or car? Check out Extreme Truck and Auto Center, located at 1098 O'Malley Drive in Coopersville. They have a huge selection of trucks, cars, vans, and SUVs. Stop by their lot or give them a call at 616-384-3777. You can check out their inventory at xtacenter.com.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
and it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
It's a 3-week journey, unmatched in almost all sports. It takes 8 games of perfection, from Monday night at your home gym and districts to the grand stage of Michigan's largest college basketball arena. Neighborhood district foes for a week, then the best of the region, the best of your quarter of the state, and eventually all eyes on the best of the best from each side of the state, with it all on the line in late March. Every game is a winner-takes-all and a pure display on the hardwood, with styles of play as varied as the corners of the state the teams travel from. To win, you'll need to conjure up some of your own March magic. No one makes it through this run unscathed. There's stories of perfection, stories of redemption, and stories of some of the great names and teams to lace them up in the mitten. We've seen them all here. The greatest teams and players on the West Side conquering all. Title-winning moments only March supplies. And the end of dynasties and miracle runs that counter the unmatched elation with an equal emotional crushing. In the MHSAA basketball tournament, moments make the journey. Don't blink, because you might miss one. It's an arduous 3-week battle, but it goes by pretty quick. This is March on MGN.
All right, welcome back here to Southside Ice Arena. Nate Dreyer with you here on Game Night on Michigan Sports Radio. It's Hockey Night on MGN, and it is the final period in a game that has pretty much been all Catholic Central, to say the least, through the first two periods of this one. 6-0 Cougars after two frames in this one. Mulvey, Schweigert, Sova, Nemesek with 2, and Bates, the goal scorers for Catholic Central. The Bulldogs still looking for their first tally of the game in this one. Trent Goheen working on a shutout, comes back out to start the final frame for Catholic Central in the home white sweaters with blue pants and a blue helmet. The Bulldogs in the traveling all-maroon look will send Annie back out for her second period of play right here. Bulldogs this time move left to right across the radio dial. Catholic Central will move right to left. And the Bulldogs bring their opening line back out one more time. Holloman in the middle of Heibel and Pullman. It's Mulvey taking the opening draw for Catholic Central. Bulldogs win it back to Pratt. Swung on to Pullman. Pullman off the left side turns it down into the right corner for Catholic Central, where Goheen is able to play it along behind the net. Heibel steals it away. Taken away from Heibel by Kwiatkowski, who lifts off the far boards. Held on to left point with a long shot from Pratt that whistles wide into the right corner. Mulvey turns this one far boards. Kwiatkowski fans on a clearing attempt, but it trickles out to the point on Sova, who gets it down to the Bulldog line. Vanderveen, the Bulldog freshman defenseman, flings it down to the Catholic Central end. Turned on by Outwater, on ahead for Sova. Sova loses footing center ice onto Mulvey. Mulvey chips one along the right wing boards into the zone. Here's Pratt with it for the Bulldogs. Up the middle of the ice, able to get a pass on to Pullman, and Pullman at the Cougar line backhands down alongside Goheen. Bulldogs go for a change. Willman at center ice. Chases one down behind net. Goheen settles it down off the far boards, looking for Kwiatkowski. Outwater beats him there. Sends it across the ice. Chased down by Westrick. Still in his own end, Westrick. Lifting one far boards where Kwiatkowski, Henry Kwiatkowski that is, lifts back to center ice. Fields has it for the Bulldogs. Fires down into the Catholic Central end. Give it on here to Schweigert. Schweigert to center ice on to Outwater. Outwater over the red line. Backhands down behind. Schweigert takes it away. Lifts up top where it's one-handed along by Outwater for Schweigert, top of the left circle. He'll motor down to the bottom of the right-hand or left-hand circle. Plays off the back of the net. Chased down first by Fields along the right wing half boards. Schweigert then able to knock him off the puck and give up top for Westrick. Westrick, left-hand circle along the half boards at the bottom. Gets in front. Trammell Fields beats him to the puck and backhands near corner. Schweigert onto it for Catholic Central, lifting down deep for Westrick. Westrick alongside the net, actually got caught in the back of the netting. Schweigert lifts out of there, back for Westrick, left corner. Stolen away by Barrett. Barrett from in between his own circles lifts it all the way down the ice, and that is an icing. 14:56 in the third. Draw to the right side of Beck here, near side draw. DeBoer will take the draw against Mulvey. DeBoer gets kicked out. The Bulldog freshman, one of many, many young key pieces on this Grandville team that certainly will come back on what was kind of a retool year for the Bulldogs in a lot of ways. They get a playoff win in and wide looking for the